Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
We have some breaking news in the FBI's Fulton County election investigation. More than 200 federal agents now in Georgia to comb through data seized earlier this year. A clear sign that the investigation into the 2020 election is heating up. Thanks so much for joining us for the On the
Night. FBI agents are going through materials found today during a search of the Fulton County, Georgia election office. That search is said to be related to the 2020 election. Correspondent David Spott has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. FBI agents are still on site at the records warehouse for the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Elections. The matter is sealed before a court, meaning details are limited, but we can report this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Sources tell Fox News that agents retrieved documents, phones, and computers after a judge signed a warrant. President Trump has long made Georgia, and specifically Fulton County, a target of his complaints relating to the 2020 election. Shortly after that election, Trump spoke to Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and said he needed 11,780 votes to win the state. At the time, Raffensperger said he felt pressure from Trump and denied any widespread election fraud. He continues to deny it to this day. Now, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis brought state criminal charges against then former President Trump and others in 2023 for conspiracy to overturn the election. But her prosecution, Brett, was eventually derailed completely after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. Now, Brett, last month, the Justice Department sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. Fox News has learned the head of the FBI's Atlanta field office was recently forced out in recent days, but it's unclear, Brett, if this is all related.
It's unclear whether it's all related. Well, now, he missed one really important fact with Fani Willis, and that is this. She had a grand jury indictment. The person that testified was Eric Coomer. Eric Coomer testified under oath in order to have President Trump locked up. That was the ultimate goal. There's a lot of things that are coming out right now. And one of the things that's happening is that on Thursday, President Trump is set to make a huge announcement related not just to the 2020 election, but to the machines, the mail-in ballots, and the legitimacy of senators and congressmen around the country. We knew back in 2021. Let's go ahead and put this up. President Trump is set to declare both Georgia Democrat senators illegitimate over massive election fraud. Ossoff and Warnock's seats are now on thin ice. This drops after the FBI raids hit Georgia election offices hard. The walls are closing in. Time to expose it all and drain the swamp for good. LFG won't tell you what that means, but our guest, Ivan Raiklin, might be able to tell you a little bit about that. So I had to put up a post, and then I'm going to get his thoughts because I have some videos that I want to show. This wasn't new news to me. First time that I actually put it out there to the public was on January 1st of 2021. I built that model in 2020. In December of 2020, after I got sued by Eric Coomer. They would have been better off leaving me alone. They would have been better off ridiculing me from the sidelines because as a system architect, I'm actually really smart. I don't know, actually, maybe I'm not that smart. I got involved in this. Maybe that makes me unintelligent. But we said that they were going to steal the election and the runoff election in 2021, on Jan 5 of 2021. I sent the model to Washington. I said, this is how they're going to do it. The system's going to come down. It's going to come back up. Now, since then, they have made major adjustments to the system itself to make it so that it's less visible to the eye, but still visible when you use math in order to figure out whether or not the elections are adversely affected. They are adversely affected and stolen in all 50 states. Put this up. This was my response to it. There's so much that I want to say about this. It was 2020 that I built a model and took it to Washington, D.C. on the 4th of January, 2021. That model and the warning that they would steal both of the Senate runoff elections in Georgia, and they did. And I told them how they would steal it. I even told them literally what would happen line by line and how the system was architected. I met with Pompeo's counsel at the State Department on Jan 6, 2021. I've done so many videos on it over the years. Now it is finally coming to a head, eerie and yet hopeful. And there is the model that I presented when I showed up on Jan 5, 2021. And they asked me the simple question, Joe, how did you know? And I said, well, I'm clairvoyant. But in the Jan 1 video, I was able to actually show how I took all of the material, over 5,800 artifacts, put it all together. I'll also tell you that I used AI before it was cool. I've been involved in AI and building AI long before it was cool. The fact that I had to step out of my company for 3 years kind of derailed some things that could have been pretty significant in my life from a technology standpoint, but I don't regret any of it. And here, put up this post here. This is post 4. At Joe Oltmann predicted the Georgia runoff election rigged before it happened. I said a few months ago that those that slandered Oltmann about his truthful claims regarding Eric Coomer, Dominion, and the absurd notion that the machines were not a part of the rig were going to be exposed. Thursday will be fun, and it is just the start. Foreign interference, CITL, all of it. We expose it all and let my people go. Never too late to learn from the OG election deniers. So with that said, I'm going to play this small clip. This is from Let My People Go. This is when I was on a stage in late 2022, early 2023. Go ahead and play it. I told them how the Georgia runoff election for the 2 senators was going to go. I gave them the model. Republicans are winning. Guess what happened? System went down, came back up, and it flipped. I went to Washington, D.C. on January 4th, 2021, and I met with counsel for Pompeo. Now, how much surprise do you think was on his face? None. 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 Now, I'm going to play this one, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Ivan Raiklin in, but I'm going to tell you, Ivan Raiklin, we're going to talk about a lot of things. He actually also, by the way, has a post that he put up related to President Trump's Thursday announcements. But let's play this. This was back when I was a younger man. By the way, becoming president puts some age on you. Also fighting across the country, 900 flights over 6 years. Takes its toll on you. I gained a few pounds. Go ahead, play it. We're going to start where you see the envelope, right? Max, I don't know if you could put your little thing over the envelope, right? Which is the basically...
It strangely looks like a Dominion Voting Systems logo.
Yes, strangely. So that ballot is them receiving it, right? So these are absentee ballots. Now, I'm only going to talk about that part of the process as it pertains to all 50 states, right? Now, I'm not talking about a specific tabulation system, although I will tell you that we're going to talk a little bit about Dominion systems and other people's systems on this deal. But you have the tabulation system, or excuse me, you have the vote that comes in. Now, in all 50 states, there's a way that you scan those envelopes for barcodes. Now, that can be done through a manual process, and that can be done through a manually.
Yeah, electronically.
Electronically.
Nevada
right?
does it electronically. Where they
Colorado does it electronically in most areas.
Yeah, where they tried Nevada and it was really bad, so they turned it down. So there's practically no real signature verification. Most states do it manually. People looking at it and then referring to a computer screen or another system to check the signatures. Go ahead, keep going.
So what's important is that you understand that there's an adjudication process that happens in 2 places during the election, right? That was in 2021. And I went on to explain this to people such as one of the deputy secretaries of state who wanted me to meet with Pompeo. I went on to explain it to John Eastman. John Eastman got onto the ellipsis stage and used my model and the information I was able to create when he was speaking, when President Trump was speaking, when people then went to the Capitol. We knew the election's stolen. We know. We're not stupid people. Which later on this week we'll be having a show where we literally talk about the people that they've said are crazy. We're not crazy. And the devil basically uses all the dog whistles they can in order to subvert truth. And here's President Trump, and then we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest, teasing a very big announcement that he says we made to the nation on Thursday night. Go ahead and play it.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement. Yeah.
Very big announcements. With that, we're going to go ahead and bring in Ivan Raiklin. Ivan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back, Joe. Yeah, that question was asked by none other than Kara Castronova.
Yeah,
she always asks the right
Lindell
good
TV.
questions.
Yep. You know, it's what I find very interesting about what's happening on Thursday is that there is some consternation of people like me that are in this, that have been in this fight for a long time. You've been in this fight for a long time. And that consternation is,
we're the OGs, basically.
Is someone going to try and water this down? Is someone going to try and stop the truth from coming out? Is what he announces on Thursday going to be much like his announcements that he made in early 2025 when he got back into the White House, where he was teasing that he was going to put stuff out there and then lawyers came in and the deep state came in? Or is this going to be unfettered President Trump that we see that finally takes his swipe, his Julius Caesar moment at the people that have stolen the voice and made the American people slaves?
So one positive thing I would have to say, one of maybe several, of Lindsey Graham's expiration. You got to remember that 1 year anniversary on January 6th of 2022, while he was golfing with Donald Trump. He was the one that called off the 1 year press conference to expose all the evidence at that point that we had related to the January 6th Fedsurrection. Lindsey Graham didn't want that out. And he was the direct representation of the entire federal deep state apparatus covering up for that Fedsurrection, which we all know the Fedsurrection was there in order to solidify the illegal, illegitimate, unconstitutionally run 2020 election in, at a minimum, 39 states, right? 40 actually with that consent decree in Georgia. Yeah, I mean, I think now that he's gone, maybe that's one thing out of the way, which gives President Trump a little bit more freedom of maneuver to go ahead and expose this.
Well, it's funny you brought up Lindsey Graham because he died from an aortic dissection. An aortic dissection is a tear.
Yeah, in the vernacular, that's called a heart explosion, similar to what you would see from the Pfizer variant or the Moderna variant, or sometimes the J&J variant.
Let's back up for a minute, because I think we need to address this. Number one, yes, he did take the jab, right? That's number one. Number two, I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Have you looked up aortic dissection poison by any chance?
I have not, no.
Okay. What do you think it says?
I won't even guess. I mean, I've seen some reports out there where there's basically as you get older, the heart and the aorta gets harder and hardened depending on your lifestyle. And then from there, it's not able to pump as flexibly. And at a certain point, when the pressure gets so high, it just shatters, explodes. Is that about right?
Yes. But the problem is that Lindsey Graham, usually when your heart explodes, when you have this aortic dissection, it's quick, right? When you have outside influences that cause it to, because remember, he made the phone call to one of his aides that used to work for another
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, Tuberville. And at that point, 911 was called. Like, he didn't call 911. Now, usually with like a widowmaker, or in this case, something like this where you have a tear, the pain is overwhelming. The first thing you do is you'd call 911. You wouldn't call someone else. The time frame that they're stating just doesn't match. In my opinion, it doesn't match just a basic, okay, we have a basic medical deal. Now, I don't want to create and become a conspiracy theorist on something that doesn't jive. But usually the call when you have this type of problem is not, the first call you make is not to someone in your inner circle.
Yeah, man, the way I take it, it was, hey, I'm having heart issues. I'm having a compressed heart. I'm going to take care of it in the morning. And I think that quickly developed. And then he probably contacted the second individual that made the call to EMS that we heard on the radio transmission that I was alerted to. I was probably one of the first ones alerted that had any significant account. And that's why I posted at 10:30 at night, because I waited a couple hours to kind of see if anybody else was going to catch on it and post something about it. No one did. And so I just said, hey, Lindsay, are you going to visit Mitch McConnell? Everybody got their panties in a bunch that I was the first one that had any indication that potentially Lindsey Graham had some issues.
Were you part
But
of
that
Lindsey?
person was from Baltimore. That phone call from the lady that called in the EMS.
Sarah, yeah. The FBI is now at Lindsey Graham's house doing an investigation. Is that normal?
Well, when I was there 2 days ago, that was about noon or 1 o'clock afternoon on Sunday, the FBI showed up within seconds before me. And it was from the Violent Crimes Unit. Now, Kash Patel stated that he was sending and deploying FBI assets that would be in the support role. And for those that aren't really tracking that jurisdiction is the Metropolitan Police Department has concurrent jurisdiction along with U.S. Capitol Police, because that's the extended jurisdiction zone of the U.S. Capitol Police from a physical geography standpoint. And then also U.S. Capitol Police has jurisdiction for the protection of members of Congress. So I don't know if the call came in from U.S. Capitol or MPD. I doubt it. Usually Kash Patel, based on the last year or so, he likes to inject himself. And so I don't know if it was more of a publicity stunt to show that he's doing something. And I'm guessing, I'm speculating, he wanted to show up with his badge and gun saying, beat his chest, that he's on scene and he's investigating. But I think when the 3 vehicles that are FBI affiliated showed up, 1 or 2 were there seconds before me. The third one showed up. I think they called it off just because I was physically present. Now, I don't know for sure if that's the case, but that's my gut tells me that that's what happened. And so that's why you saw an increased presence the following day, which would have been yesterday.
Yeah, the issue I have is the timing of everything, and everything seems to be there's so many coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences, but there's so many coincidences. We've been talking about this for the last 6 years.
Hey, before we go too far on this, I want to go back. You mentioned January 1st of 2021, right? And
that video was
presented.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. So when you look at my tweet from 2 hours ago that I posted, I happen to be tooling around, now that it's public, that President Trump is going to be giving that speech on Thursday night. I can now follow up with some information, just like you did.
Yeah.
Let's go through this. As you prepare to listen to POTUS's address on Thursday night, I wanted to share this exchange from December 6th, 7th, 2020, along with the subsequent assessment provided to key leaders later that month. Again, December of 2020. And I posted this on January. Underneath this, there's a post also that I included that we can go through. That's from January 1st of 2021, same day as what you had, followed by the plan on the appropriate resolution. It is encouraging to see that nearly 6 years later, real Donald Trump is finally coming around to, quote, the plan, praying that the entire source packet is released, meaning some of what you have is part of that source packet to prove how the election was completely rigged and the foreign interplay with it. You were at the forefront of it. Mike Lindell and many of us were.
Okay, so there you have
the intelligence community.
Yeah.
So as you look at that picture on the left, if you can just click on it and zoom in it, I want you to read through it, Joe.
All right, let me read this out loud. And this is who's this text from or to? Who's this text to? I can't hear you, Ivan. You went quiet on me.
It's not me.
There we go.
It's on your end.
All right, we got it.
No, so what I was saying is you might be the only person or one of the few people on the planet that reading this will be able to identify both parties to this exchange.
Okay. I pray you are planning to file in court to postpone Georgia U.S. Senate runoff as all fraud investigated so that Loeffner, Perdue are available for position Jan 6 Electoral College contingent election in Senate. It guarantees at least Pence VP, and we will see if they will be publicly fight for POTUS. They will definitely earn our vote if they do that, and by then we will have resolved the Dominion machines and ballot issues. Request election to be Jan 21 or later, boom, GA code 21-2-501A1, unless such date is postponed by a court order, such election runoff shall be held on Tuesday of the 9th week following such general elections. Can you call me ASAP? Read SCOTUS petition I filed tonight. Oh, okay. All right. Go to the next one.
No, stay on that
Okay,
one. That's
go back.
separate.
So it appears.
Who do you
that
think
this
the
might
Ivan is referring to?
I think it's John Eastman.
Nope.
If it's not John Eastman, it'd be
Who's in Georgia?
Sidney Powell
Who's in Georgia at the time?
on November 14th.
December 6th, 7th.
6th, 7th. Who's in Georgia?
Who filed the Supreme Court case based on the memo that I had sent him?
Well, Sidney Powell
Considering-
was in Georgia. And
Right, she filed separately. Yep.
yeah,
But that was related to the November 3rd, 2020 election. This is in relationship to the Senate runoff on January 5th. And so I
Yeah.
drafted a memo. While you think
Yeah.
about it, I'm going to explain. Drafted a memo explaining the Georgia Constitution and Georgia statute construct, as well as U.S. constitutional arguments, where in the runoff, you're technically supposed to have only the registered voters that were legitimate registered voters from the November 3rd election able to vote in the runoff election. Since it had not yet been resolved how many of the ballots cast in November were legitimate voters, registered legitimate, voters, it was premature to hold a runoff election on January 5th. And so this person filed a lawsuit articulating some of this.
well, Christina
Luckily.
Bobb was there.
They responded to my memo. Who?
Christina Bobb was in Georgia. She was doing the investigation. Chad Wolf was down there looking at ballot boxes in December related to a shredder truck that showed up soon after the election at the end of November.
Keep going. Which was the last case dismissed by the Supreme Court as it relates to the 2020 election?
Last case. Why am I missing this person?
Well, there's technically one more that's still kind of alive in New Hampshire right now, but I don't really count that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem is during this time you had Lynn Wood that was putting his head in the middle of everything. You had Sidney Powell.
There you go.
That was Lynn Wood.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I spent
That's
a lot
why
of
I
time
wanted
with Lynn Wood.
to.
I spent a lot
I
of time
know
with Lynn Wood.
I've never I don't think I've ever physically met him.
I negotiated the settlement with.
Remember though, this is
Rittenhouse, the
December
lawyer
6th,
for
7th,
Rittenhouse.
right?
Yeah.
Of 2020.
Yeah.
So just frame it in that context. What I'm getting
I don't
at
think
here
I
is
had a
that-
conversation with Lynn Wood until sometime. By the way, if this is December 6th, this would have been just after Lynn Wood had Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn, Patrick Byrne, what's the guy's name from Cyber Ninjas, all at his place at Lynn Wood's place. They were there talking about what they were going to do on an audit going forward. They all met and collected themselves at Lynn Wood's place in late November. This was right after that.
Okay.
Yeah, but this was dismissed, right? He filed a petition. The petition.
Right, but what I'm getting at is that depending on what's released and discussed on Thursday night by President Trump,
yeah,
this is the precursor. I mean, a lot of the work that we did in Georgia, I mean, Garland Favorito, obviously, some of the work Cleta Mitchell did, but there's many things that other people did that were not part of the campaign, not part of the administration at that time, that exposed almost all of this and knew the vectors to be able to get the remaining information. And so it's good to see that we have enough white hats that are listening to the demand signal of those that did the work 6 years ago and subsequently.
Okay, so
And when I say source packet, it'd be nice for them to provide it all. But
well, I mean, look,
I'm not sure. I'm kind of reticent on. I think Radcliffe is there to remember. Radcliffe is going to be there as well. I think he's there to do the limited hangout, controlled mechanism.
well, I think
We'll
I think
see.
at the end of the day, I don't really care what limited they do, as long as they actually eliminate the machines and mail-in ballots, and they do so by being able to prove that the machines are compromised. Now, this should lead to, and this should be an announcement on Thursday that leads to the indictment of people in Dominion, specifically people like Eric Coomer and his attorneys and the other people that, frankly, have created this.
Right.
white noise.
That's what I'm saying is that they don't have that intestinal fortitude. From my perspective, it'll just be forward facing. They're just going to threaten, hey, if you on the left and right, to include Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, if you don't go along with us in supporting the change of the electoral system and the Save America Act, Republicans, then we're going to go ahead and try to push for criminal charges. I think that's the strategy. So no one's going to be held to account. They're just going to pass the bill and say that's a victory.
Well, I mean, then it's just light. It's accountability light. Nobody goes to prison, or we have the indictments.
It's just more transparency, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the part that drives me crazy. It's very simple, right?
Well, the second assessment also, there's that component. I don't know how much they're going to go into with that second photo that we had up, but if you guys can bring that up.
Bring that back up. There you go.
That's the assessment that was provided to some key leaders, and I don't know, maybe they're going to finally go into the direction that they were guided to, and where to find this information to prove it.
Yeah, so this just gets back to the pedigree of the fraud itself, where it came from. And if you go all the way back, you can trace it back to 2004. Obviously, there was fraud long before 2004. But 2004 is when Clinton Curtis testified in front of Congress and said, I was told to build a system. It just so happened that, 22 years later, that system is now nearly fully fortified, and it is stealing elections at every level. And you saw what happened in Virginia.
At breakneck AI speed.
It really is. It's unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I use AI in order to tell me, when I'm going through data and I'm looking at how the information is actually pushed through the funnel, whether or not AI was used and whether or not they were actually using PID controllers in order to fix the outcome. And now they have a multitude of things that they're able to do. They did it in the primary in Colorado. They did it in the election for Virginia governor. They did it for Mamdani. And they did it for Spencer Pratt. So you have all of these different elections, which are largely fraudulent elections and fraudulent outcomes. Mm-hmm. And you can see it mathematically. It's impossible to happen what happened to Spencer Pratt. It's even more improbable, if not impossible. I mean, to basically the 12th degree that you would be able to get a fixed outcome that they came to the conclusion for Spanberger and the people that were elected to the state house. It's not possible, Ivan.
All right, Spencer Pratt, Los Angeles. Who's going to prosecute Democrats stealing an election for Democrats in a Democrat city, Democrat county, and a Democrat state, violating election law of the state? Like, who's going to go after them for violating state election law?
Well, I mean, look, there's a bigger problem here that I think the question, you're not asking the right question. You're not asking the right question. How do you get past a rotted judiciary? Because the judges have become henchmen. The judges in our country are largely rotted, and they have created a lawless society across our country. They are basically they are the pinpricks.
The Soros DA won't even bring it to the court.
Well, you can't bring it to the court because the court itself won't even hear it. You see this happen time and time again. I had Eric Holt on yesterday.
Even before, there won't be even a criminal charge for a court to hear because the DA won't bring it.
Correct. So then how do you resolve that? I mean, let's let's get to the meat of it. How do you resolve something when the system is so rotted out to the core?
So far, the only
level?
resolution to any of this has been life expectancy.
What does that mean?
When
Lindsey
a person
Graham?
expires, then all problems are solved.
Okay, I would agree with that.
So when the culprit expires or the victim expires, then that's how you get justice. That's so far been the modus operandi of this and every previous government. Nothing.
All right,
So
what
when
are you
it's my
calling
time
for?
to
Because
sign off,
I do this.
right?
I do this.
Same thing with you.
I do this all the time. Like I'm calling for the hanging of people that were treasonous traitors that have stolen the voice and enslaved the American people. I've been very clear about that.
Yeah, but that's
right?
too diplomatic.
Well, I mean, look, a war. We have to know targets, and if targets are the people that are being protected by people that have said they're just quote unquote doing their job, which is what we ran into on Jan 6th, then we're dead in the water.
And with the COVID jabs, yeah. All right, so. Well, it takes a village to put an idiot on your back and drag him to the truth. Okay. So maybe on Thursday, we finally get to where the lemming normies and now Fox News is acquiescing to our truth that we already presented 6 years ago.
All right, let's look at this. We see that Mitch McConnell, do you think he's alive? I heard he's brain dead, and that came from a pretty reliable source. And then you have him just show up like somewhere along the line, everybody had 20, 30-minute calls with him. But you think he's still there?
I don't know definitively if he's alive or dead, but so far I don't have any convincing proof of life. That picture that was, I don't even think it was put out by was it put out by his team? It was some like other third-party media account that said, oh, McConnell put out a press release. Yeah, whatever.
But you can't prove that it's even a dated photo. I mean, there's no. And if, by the way, I tried to figure out whether or not you can.
If he's in recovery, why doesn't he just do a press conference? You know, send his condolences to his good friend, Lindsey Graham, right?
What do you think the outcome is for this? What do you think the outcome is? We have two prominent Republicans. We have some other kind of rifts that are in the water too. We had, the upset primary in with help me. President Trump
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Massey
with Thomas Massey. There's some rifts happening inside the party, and I'm not sure that it's all good. So how are we supposed to look at this? I know in Colorado it's not good. We got Victor Marx running for governor, and supposedly that election went the way it did, which I don't believe that at all. 50-50, 20. We know that election is fixed. How do we get to an outcome where the Republican Party is so fractured and broken that it doesn't even look like a party anyone should associate with?
Well, the old adage is the only thing worse than a Democrat, the only thing worse than the Republican is a Democrat, right?
Right.
So that's bottom of the barrel in terms of humanity goes. How do we solve this? I mean, it'd be nice for the betrayals to stop from this White House on what we voted for this administration to do. That'd be a good start. And then focus in on the domestic issues that we had voted for. But this White House continues to fall in line with its big donors, as opposed to the 77 plus million people that voted it in. I mean, it'd be good to do both, right? Try to feed the interests and desires of the voters and the big donors. That's doable, as opposed to just only doing the donors' bidding.
Look, I'd be the first one to tell you that I'm disappointed in the speed by which things are getting done. But if Thursday turns out to be something significant, and there are arrests and there are people that are brought to account, then how would we walk away from that type of? I mean, at that point, at least you can have some. It's a semblance of hope. Hopium. We're right back on the hopium bus.
Yeah, let's go back to it's been 10 years of hopium, right? He had a full first term to do it. He failed. He has had a year and a half, 18 months to do it. So far, nothing burgers.
What would you?
The only person in this admin that has in a substantive manner, laid this all out has been Tulsi Gabbard, right? And her team.
Yeah.
I may or may not know every single individual that was part of that team. We'll leave it at that.
And what do you feel about that team? Do you feel like that team was effective in what they did? Remember, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat.
Well, they were disbanded once the investigation into Shawnee Kirkhoff started to kick into high gear, and the trail into the CIA started to lead about the Fedsurrection and the pipe bomb.
Okay, so
John Radcliffe, the CIA director, Michael Ellis, the deputy, Aaron Lucas, the deputy at DNI, the CIA guy as well, all locked arms to protect the institution, backed by the Brennan Syndicate of the 51 spies who lied. And many people say that Radcliffe is a Mossad stenographer.
Okay. Let's hypothetically say
backed by
everything
Miriam
you're saying is true.
Adelson when he was a congressman.
Let's say what everything
Same
you're
as-
saying is
Same as
let's
the
say
president.
Let's say that everything you're saying is true. Everything, all that is true, right?
It is. It's
Tulsi
backed
Gabbard-
all by evidence. We can bring it up as we talk if you want to see all the receipts.
I would love to see the receipts and do an actual show of the receipts so people can understand it. But I want to look at something different, or deeper than this. You said that it all led back to this thing with the CIA, and obviously we have Brian, who now got indicted, basically an at-risk American for these pipe bombs. Yeah, Brian, the young man that
Brian Cole Jr.
Brian Cole Jr. that got indicted for the pipe bombs, even though the gate analysis, all the work that was done.
He got indicted on Dan Bongina's birthday in December of 2025. Oh, what a coincidence. I love how the FBI, the handlers, are just stroking Dan Bongina's ego. And alongside him, he's got Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and Janine Pirro and Kash Patel, right?
It's like the Kardashians. It's like Kardashian Patel and Dan Bongino.
It's laughable.
Yeah. But I want to get back to this. We know Brian Cole is not we know Brian Cole is not the bomber. We know that Kyle Seraphin was put on duty to watch the house right next door to Shawnee Kirkhoff, and that they had traced the individual that the bus pass was used to the neighbor of Shawnee Kirkhoff.
Yeah, it's, by the way, 10 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. This.
But you understand
in
my
Falls
point?
Church, Virginia.
My point is that there is no such thing as coincidences. And when Steve Baker had a conversation with Kyle Seraphin, Kyle's like, wait a minute, let me tell you the address. Kyle was able to tell Steve Baker the address, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he would never have known that had he not been on that, and he knew exactly who they were actually investigating.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then the gate analysis proved that Shawnee Kirkhoff was in fact the person that was responsible for the pipe bombs.
Well, no, I wouldn't frame it that. I would say that the gate analysis is more consistent with Shawnee Kirkhoff's gate and then he gave a percentage behind it. He didn't conclude anything. He just gave an assessment with a hypothesis and he gave it the confidence level of his hypothesis, tying it to Shawnee Kirkhoff more so than Brian Cole Jr. But the institutions are locking arms to not allow anyone to go down that path.
Hold on. And you can look at the picture and you can do a negative positive analysis and you can tell that the person that's in the picture is not a black man. You can. It's pretty easily. I mean, I can use the software in order to look at the
not
videos.
For those people that consume the FBI and CIA controlled media.
So that
They
leads
all
me back to why
they
are
all
we protecting
believe-
the institution?
They all believe former co-deputy delegate, co-delegate deputy of the FBI, Dan Bongina.
Oh, and then he left.
Yeah.
He left.
What's he doing now?
I don't even know. I mean,
Is he
doing a
hiding
podcast?
somewhere?
Is he doing a podcast?
I don't know. I never heard of it. Haven't heard of anything.
he blocked me on all the platforms, so I don't get to see any of his stuff anymore. I don't think anybody else cares about his stuff anymore.
Ooh, that's a flex. Blocking someone. It's powerful. No, he's like the show me the evidence of the stolen election, and he closes his eyes and ears. Show me the evidence. After he got the COVID jab, I just think he became a complete cuck, bumbling coward buffoon. It's
Well, look,
unfortunate.
He's always been a part.
He bought into the whole COVID cabal.
Look, he's always been a part of the political establishment, right? I mean, there's no question that he stood up and said that.
No, I mean, he did some good work exposing a lot of the issues that we're trying to still resolve. But I mean, at some point,
so the enemy would always do that in order to get.
He was told not to pursue it.
And I don't believe that.
Complied.
Ivan, I don't believe it. That's not what I believe. What I believe is that there are plenty of people that call themselves patriots that show up with information that is either partially true or semi-true and walk Americans off cliffs and stand as controlled opposition when a time comes to talk about someone like Brian Cole. Look at what he did with Shawnee Kirkhoff. He stood up and said, "See, it wasn't Shawnee Kirkhoff, the person."
No, I'm talking about when he was the pod guy. Back before
he still is the podcast guy.
No. Now he's he's the limited hangout comms guy, external for the established order to protect the system. I'm talking about before he came into government in 2025. After he just changed positions from, remember, the only time in American history that you had to have, because of his incompetence, ineptness, Bongina had to have another person fill his role as deputy director, Andrew Bailey. Like, I don't know what it was, 100 days in, because he couldn't handle the job. Because all he wanted to do was do sparring, mess up his shoulder, go to MMA fights, and say, "Look at me, I got a badge and a gun," with his buddy Kash Patel. "Look at me, I got a badge and a gun."
I mean, look, bro. I mean,
hey, don't bother me, bro. I'm with this country music sensation in Nashville.
Well, let's walk down the line. I mean, we act like this is an isolated incident with Dan Bongino.
These questions, pedestrian? I'm busy at this MMA UFC fight. I got no time to conduct investigations or lead an organization. That's for delicate Dan Bongina to do. Oh, wait, delicate Dan Bongina is with me at the same UFC fight. He's got no time to do anything about firing the deep state. I'm sorry, America, but guess what? I got my badge and a gun. And look at me. I got my trusty little adopted daughter, also known as the country music sensation, that I fly around and follow everywhere throughout the country on your taxpayer dollar.
You said daughter?
Adopted daughter.
Whose adopted daughter?
Isn't she his adopted daughter?
Whose?
What's his name? Cash.
No, that's his girlfriend.
No, because he brought her to Family Day.
No,
at the FBI. So then how does he bring her if she's not a family member?
Yeah, she's a country sensation too.
No, but how does he bring?
Have you heard her music? Have you heard her music?
Yeah, but how does he listen, Joe? How does he bring her to Family Day at the FBI if she's not a family member? Ergo, she must be his adopted daughter. Am I wrong?
I mean, I think that I don't know. I don't know the rules, bro. You know these rules. I've been all about none of the political establishment. I don't even pay attention to the rules.
If I'm wrong, and she's not his adopted daughter, then he's defrauding the FBI policy by bringing in a non-family member to Family Day.
Okay. Is that a thing?
Yeah, apparently you didn't see him fawning over Family Day.
All right, tell me about Julie Kelly.
I think, isn't she your favorite?
No, she's not my favorite. She's blocked me too. Everyone blocked me.
She's up there. Isn't she up there with your best friend Dan Bongina?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his either. But so you start. All right, so let's talk about the fat man. Can we talk about him?
Wait, you're talking about the former food blogger, right? Is that the food blogger?
Yeah, the one who gave money to the Democrats that Kyle Seraphin uncovered, and then Dan Bongino stood up for it and then said, "Oh, Kyle Seraphin, something wrong with him," and stood up for Julie Kelly, who literally, she did stand up for J6ers, but again, this is why I call about it. You got to have controlled opposition to steer the narrative, even when the narrative is a different narrative.
Now, remind me what she did for January 6ers other than amplify.
That's it.
DOJ bad.
That's it. That's
Was
it.
there anything of consequence that resulted from that?
No. But none of them do. None of them do. Like I went to Washington, met at the State Department. Like I was fully prepared to go through and say, Wreck-It Ralph, let's look inside the system. Let's look underneath
So let's go.
the
You
covers.
said at the beginning of the show before I came on, you're a genius. You're the smartest guy in the room. Fix
Nope,
it.
I'm not. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. That's the problem. And it doesn't matter if there is a smartest guy in the room. You can't get through the CIA. You can't.
Well, I wanted to drop a name that I haven't dropped yet.
Drop it.
Are you able to screen share as I bring up this name?
Sure.
Yeah, speaking of the CIA, there's a few names that America needs to start scrutinizing to the maximum, especially as we get ready for this Thursday night evening presentation by the president. So, 4 CIA and intel community affiliated folks.
Okay.
The General Counsel of the DNI. Let's pull them up. Let's take a look at them. I want people to learn who this is. Also, Michael Ellis.
Are you going to share your screen? Because we can just share your.
No, you have a whole production team. I can't deal with that.
Okay, so who am I looking up?
The General Counsel at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Okay. That's the individual that works with the Deputy Director of the DNI, Aaron Lucas, a CIA officer, and the Deputy Director at the CIA, Michael Ellis, to
So what about John
determine what-
Dever? John Dever wasn't
There you go. Yes, that's the name.
Okay. So what
John
are
Dever.
we talking about John Dever?
Well, hold
He's
on.
a special
I was just
advisor.
about to get into it.
Okay, go ahead.
So those three, remember, General Counsel DNI, Deputy DNI, a CIA officer, but he's assigned to be the Deputy DNI, and the Deputy Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. All
Okay.
three of those folks have a cut on deciding, and they're institutionalists. They've been around for a minute. They're the ones that decide whether or not to disband this Tulsi Gabbard Directors Initiative group. Okay? They're the ones that decide what gets declassified, right? And what doesn't.
Okay.
How to manage the limited hangout. 2 of them have an X account. Keep an eye on it. That should give you some indicators. Michael Ellis and Aaron Lucas both have X accounts, formerly known as Twitter. And so
Okay.
my postulation is that they're the ones that are managing everything related to no accountability. They provide some transparency, but there will be no accountability as long as those 3 are there. But guess what? You think Bill Pulte knows this? The acting DNI? Or
I think
is
he
the
does,
general counsel telling Bill Pulte, hey, Mr. Acting Director of National Intelligence, Mr. Pulte, your honorableness, highness, I would highly encourage you not to do X, Y, and Z because that would put you in very high level of high risk liability, up to criminal liability. Whether that's true or not, that's the control mechanism for these actings and those people that are not in the system. They have no clue. They're being told, hey, I trust this guy. He's telling me, he's advising me, he's protecting me. The general's counsel at all these institutions and the deputies that have been there for a minute, like, I don't know, 20 years worth of minutes, they're the ones that are going to manage to protect the institution because guess what? They are the institution and they're protecting all of their friends, the Brennans of the world, right? On the CIA side, et cetera, et cetera.
James
So,
Dever is
that's
his
one of the
son,
reasons.
right?
Jim Dever, General Counsel, Director of National Intelligence.
It's John Dever, otherwise known as Jack. But the Devers have a long history.
Yeah, similar to the General Counsel of the United States Capitol Police. He was the one that there you go. He's the one, not this guy, but U.S. Capitol Police General Counsel Tad Tobias is the one that was behind all 1,600 January 6th defense weaponizations before they went over to the DOJ for further weaponization. And then the judges further weaponization in the courts. Anyhow, just throwing some names out there.
So I mean, look, the problem is that all this stuff lives in your head. The people who are listening to this right now, they're not. It's hard to follow, right? And one of the reasons why I wrote the article that I wrote about the election fraud across the country is I wanted to dumb it down to such a way that people could understand what was happening in all 50 states. So
yeah, you can follow my Substack and look at stuff. You can see it.
All right, how do you do that? Where's your Substack?
IvanRaiklin.substack.com.
All right.
My last couple pieces of work are actually focused on criminal referrals.
Of which there are many.
Of Metropolitan Police Department officers and U.S. Capitol Police officers. Now that Tom Fitton won that lawsuit, releasing the MPD body cam footage, and we have most of the CCTV footage from the U.S. Capitol Police.
What about
it's now time for criminal referrals.
What about Ferone?
Fanone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got 7 criminal referrals out on him. Got a $10 million defamation lawsuit on him. We got a criminal investigation of him going on right now in Fairfax County, Virginia. And I'm not sure yet if the DOJ has opened a criminal investigation on him on the 7 criminal referrals that I did. But they have until July 27th to address, before the statute of limitations runs, his first criminal referral from January 27th of 2021.
You think they will?
Let me ask Todd Blanche. Let me ask Janine Pirro. Nope, still haven't gotten a response.
All right, let's go back to Lindsey Graham real quick. I want to talk about this.
Do you think they will?
No.
What do we need to do to motivate them to do this?
Look, I've been in this fight for 6 years. I'll do the podcast. I'll talk about this stuff. I've given all the blood that a person can give, right? And when you have the most retarded people out there, now I'm going to say this as nicely as I possibly can. Do I think I'm the genius in the room? No. Do I think I'm smarter than 99% of the people out there? Yeah, I do.
I would agree,
and I've proven it. So
it's not.
I look at the stupid people that they put in positions of trust and the thirstiness they have for power and money, and not one of those people could fog a mirror when it comes to actually doing the work that is necessary to build up something like what President Trump. That's why I give President Trump all the credit in the world. It's because he actually built an empire, and he built it on his own. You can say $1 million, but he turned $1 million into 9, 10, 11.
So he's good. Yeah, he's great at making money and campaigning, and thus far I haven't seen any governing prowess.
Yeah, I don't look. It's a big machine, Ivan. It's a big machine. It's a big, deep, dark machine.
Should we go through the list
yourself? Which list?
Let's go through the list. What did he even pick up the phone to defend Ed Martin for him to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, or did Adam Schiff bitch slap him and say, "No, Ed Martin won't be your U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Have a nice day, Donnie." That's what happened. Okay, bitch slapped him. Okay, so if he can't deal with that, let's go up next. Mark Zuckerberg, $400 million. He bribed the election system in 2020 and censored billions of people worldwide related to COVID information. I mean, he self-admitted to this in a letter to Jim Jordan. What does Donnie do? Hey, Mark, come to the White House. Come to my inauguration so I can pat you on the back. Oh, and then I'm not going to stop there.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to bring in Albert Bourla into the White House and give him another, whatever it was, billions of dollars to continue to distribute the DNA mutilation injections. Okay. Thanks, Donnie, for Operation Warp Speed.
Hey, Ivan, you got if you're going to have a debate, we got to have a debate, right? So let me just, let me
and what about his endorsement in order to win, in order for Mamdani to win in New York? Who did Donald endorse? The Democrat COVID criminal, Andrew Cuomo.
Well, who is he going to endorse?
When is he going to stop betraying us, Joe?
Who would he?
Maybe Thursday he'll stop betraying us.
Who would you have him endorse in New York?
How about the Republican nominee? How about Donnie would endorse the Republican nominee?
I mean,
Not
I think,
the Democrat
listen to me.
COVID criminal.
Listen to me. I think you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The elections are all kabuki theater. They're all lies. Every one of them. There's not every election in the United States is a fucking lie. Not maybe it's a lie. Not maybe it's real. They're all
Gonna give them a pass
fake.
on all that?
No, I'm not gonna. I don't give anybody any passes. But I think that we have the talons of. We're already in communism, right? We're not. This isn't. There's no free country. You're not in a free country when you don't own your damn house, where you pay 56 cents on every dollar of the government. They can use it wherever they want and give it to illegals and Islamic extremists and have them take over our community, give them free education and free health care and free everything, while the American people have to go to work for 60 hours a week. This isn't a free country. It's a freaking slave camp. That's what it is. You know what I think? I think that both parties could put them in a blender and mix them up, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them, DNA-wise. You want to know why? Because they're all shit. All of them. Because they've been
Careful how
selected
you
for
use
so
the
long.
term blender. People are going to conflate that with wood chipper.
But grab the wood chipper. My point is this. We can't have honest conversations about where we are. It's okay that I don't agree with certain things. I don't have a seat at the table. I don't get to see what's going on with Iran. I think supporting Israel is a joke when you're out there genociding an entire nation. Has nothing to do with being pro-Palestinian.
We
Has
do have a
everything
seat
to
at
do
the
with
table. That's why people are angry at our speech.
What do you mean they're angry at our speech?
Because
you
we
mean?
call it out.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've got a large audience that I can talk to, but our side is not our side, Ivan. I mean, before you came on my show last time, you had someone literally text you a piece of see you next Tuesday, telling you not to come on, that I'm not one of you. Did the same thing to other people.
I always
These
tell
are
people that are mad. For the people that tell me, oh, why did you go on his show? Well, Joe is unvaccinated. So any other person that's unvaccinated that hosts a program on the planet, I will avail myself to you. If you're a vaxxed cuck, you have no courage, and you have no business with my time and attention, because you didn't prove up when it was important to prove up.
Listen to me. Listen, you know why people don't like me? Because one, I could beat their ass, right? And they're weak little cucks. That's number one. Number two, I don't need anybody's
I finally
money.
got you to say that.
I don't need anybody's money, right?
Because
I don't need anybody's money.
Control.
You can't control me. Like I'm laser focused on the truth. Number three, I don't kiss anybody's ass. There's not an ass out there I'm going to kiss. I will respect people out there that are doing the work that needs to be done, right? But I kiss zero ass. And if you betray me, you're dead to me. So the man that will remain unknown or that I'm not going to say his name, he took $3 million from me. I sued him. I got a judgment for almost $7 million for taking money from me, right? I legitimately don't go out there and shit on people that are on our side. But Ivan, I should, but I don't. Because if they do a little bit of the part to get us further along in this cesspool of shit, the better I feel. I don't care if I get a seat at the table.
So, going back to that tweet that we're looking at.
Which tweet are we talking about? The one with
the very first one, I don't know, 4 hours ago when we started the show. Yeah.
See, he's not a guy that I would say is, yeah. Sorry.
Again, go back to December. This is December 6th, 7th of 2020. Last I checked, you spent quite a bit of time with him after those dates.
I did.
So keep that in mind.
He reached out to me in January of 2021.
I haven't spoken to him in years.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like that I communicated with certain people.
Well, it wouldn't have been me. I mean, he told me on the phone, Joe, you're the only guy that I'm afraid to actually go to battle with. His words, not mine. He goes, because...
All right, so go down to that tweet, Mr. Production Team.
Bring up the tweet. Bring up the tweet.
And then see that one underneath? January 1st of 2021. Click on that one, and let's go through it, dissect it. This is what I presented for a plan of action in order to stop the electoral heist in Georgia and other states. By position.
Can you zero in on it, please? Bring it in tighter. Even if
You
have
can
to
see their
just take the
position,
left
executive
side.
branch, which I did it amongst the entire government of who should be doing what to fix this election. So executive branch, task purpose, right? Who? Donald Trump. What should he do by day?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. And so apparently, see where it says 9 p.m. address to the nation via emergency alert system. Authorities of cyber attack on our critical infrastructure by China, Russia, Iran, electoral infrastructure as well. But that's only one vector, right?
Bro, you have
can
Mike
scroll through this.
Pompeo in here as if that guy would do anything.
I'm telling our governmental actors what they should be doing to the maximum authority that their position allows in order to fix the illegal election.
Okay.
Did they listen? No. And that's why we failed. And that's why we had an illegitimate residency for the last 4 years. And so I don't know, maybe Mr. President Trump is going to finally listen to some of these suggestions.
Well, I do know that the things that he's saying right now closely resemble what I've been hearing for the last 4 or 5 months, that things are coming and things are working.
Yeah. Trust the plan, right? Well, here's your plan. I trust the plan because it's my plan. You're welcome, America. In the most humble tone ever since Jesus.
All right. Well, I tell you what.
I think we end the interview now.
2021 was a pretty crazy deal. I want to play this, by the way. This is I want to go back to Lindsey Graham.
I say that for the haters. You know that I say it that way for the haters, just to rub it in.
Look, here's the thing I say about the contributions that we made. It took 5 years to get there.
Massive. We carried literally the country to this point.
But at least we got there. I mean, at least,
yeah.
And there's 2 words, Ivan, that I use.
There.
I use all the time. Those 2 words are, but God. Like, but God, we wouldn't have an opportunity to save our nation. But God, we wouldn't have an opportunity to bring ourselves out of this hole. But God, it took faith, it took commitment, and it took good works in order to get us to a place where we can have the things that we have today. And I think the contributions, even from people that I frankly don't like, have been significant.
Yeah, they played a role.
I want to give those people, even at a small level, even people that were, at precincts in New Hampshire and Virginia and that ran for office. My friend Don Powers up in Oregon that helped fund things and get people organized and give up his own of his own fortune,
one by one,
his own reputation.
The domino kept accumulating. There's like one snowflake at a time as we accumulated the avalanche.
And the number of people that I met over the last 6 years that are extraordinary but ordinary, extraordinary in their faith, extraordinary in their courage,
their resolve and resilience,
but ordinary in the fact that they would have carried it even if it cost them their death. Though that's the reason we got to this place. And frankly, it's a lot. Like, I know running a company is a lot. People are always chirping in my ear. Running a country is even different. It's even more complex because everyone is important. Everyone feels like they're the most important voice in the room. And in 2021, frankly, there was a lot of voices. Like, I was meeting with people. There's a lot of people saying, President, go this way, go this way, go this way. And I just became another one of those voices. And then I started to figure out they didn't have a plan. Nobody had a plan. And so I give a lot of grace to President Trump because just seeing
you just saw a plan. So you had a plan. I had a plan. There's a few of us that had a plan. You mentioned a few names like Eastman, right? I may not agree with some of it, but at least they were putting forth suggestions / courses of action to take.
Look at Christina
unfortunately.
Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, what an extraordinary human being. And I mean extraordinary. Who
I think
gave
she's
up a
at
lot.
Judicial Watch right now doing some good work.
Yeah, she is. I mean, I think Tom Fitton's a piece of shit, but I mean, other than that, everything else is good. I don't like any organization.
Well, you don't like that he's got bigger muscles than you?
I would venture to say it's probably not true. That's actually not true. I just want you to know I don't
always
like
like me,
baby.
man. I got to get in the frame here.
Come on. Yeah, what are those? What happened to you? You stopped lifting or what?
No.
My point is
I'm trying to lean up over here.
Anybody that tells a story and says there's nothing to see here, let's not focus on this, walk away from the machines, walk away from the mail-in ballots, they're just trash. And if they can say something privately and then try to eviscerate me publicly, fuck them. Tom Fitton's a piece of shit. I'll say it again. And the Heritage Foundation, for them to come out and say, yeah, we know what Oltmann was saying in Denver was true, but we can't say it publicly, fuck them too. Like, I'm sick of these people that are just cowards. President Trump's not a coward. And you can say whatever you want, but he stands on a stage every day and he said the elections are fraudulent. And he know that everything comes
on that
from
topic,
stolen
absolutely.
elections. So,
But
I mean,
he
he's not going to get
But
every
he had
win,
Lindsey
bro.
Graham convince him, no, don't do a press conference about January 6th and the stolen election and the Fedsurrection.
That
And
was
he
in
listened to
December.
him.
Yeah, I mean,
January 6th of 22, a year later.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's not, you can argue with his methods. You can say that he's not doing enough, but man, he's carrying the weight. Like we chirp from the sidelines. I'll get involved and help when I can. But there are so many bad people in Washington. Would you agree?
So many, almost all of them.
Okay. So he's got to wade through the Judases and the Brutuses, and he's got to find just a select group of people that literally are not trying to stuff their faces, because you have the Zuckerbergs out there of the world.
And so when
that
you know that, you come up with a plan to navigate through that to assist him in spite of him trying to fend off all of these Brutuses.
Yeah. Yeah. So the problem is that guys like you and guys like me, like we would end up copying to a charge, because we'd be in the middle of a meeting and one of them would open their mouth and we'd throw them around like a rag doll, and all of a sudden Capitol Police would come in and just oblige at the idea that you just got charged with a felony for throwing that weak piece of trash around. That's the reality, because I have zero
speaking
patience
of
for
Capitol
demons.
Police and felony, 6 criminal referrals on Michael Fanone, 2 of which for assaulting the Capitol Police officer at the same hearing that he defamed me. By the way, $10 million defamation lawsuit, 7 criminal referrals, and Fairfax County PD is investigating him for potentially coordinating and organizing threats against me.
Pretty crazy. The whole thing's pretty crazy. All right, I'm gonna finish up with this. I'll give you the final word, but here's what I'm saying to you. I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement. President Trump is literally,
I'm always happy and positive.
He's the odd man out, right? He is the guy that's holding the long straw and the short straw all at the same time, and he hasn't shown anyone which one is which.
So you're saying that he's never made a single mistake, he's perfect, and everybody around him are the ones to blame for all of his failures?
No. I think I've made huge mistakes. I think he's made huge mistakes. But I don't know which mistake is which one's the most important thing to work on. I mean, when you have so many holes in the boat, which one's the most important? Right? I mean,
he's obviously Doge wasn't.
194, bro. 194 adverse verdicts against President Trump in the first year and a half of his second term by judges that stood in the way of progress. 194. Judges are now above the law. They get to tell the CEO of the country what to do, right?
Well, so that's why he's just focused on foreign policy, making as much money for Jared.
Yeah,
with all these peace deals.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I don't like it. I don't agree with that. By focusing in on that, should be focused on domestic stuff instead of making sure that Bibi stays in power.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen on Thursday. I'm praying for that God just literally delivers something spectacular outside of the control of President Trump and the rest of these evil demons. President Trump.
What about this? What if he announces he's going to war in order to keep Bibi in power by sending ground troops to Carg Island?
Yeah, I'm not okay. Not okay with that. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
What stops Bibi from doing that?
What do you mean?
What stops Bibi and Miriam from forcing Trump into that?
Yeah, look, I think that you underestimate the power that President Trump is yielding right now. He needed to have density. He has full density now. Over 80% of the public believes that we should pass the SAVE Act. A majority of our country, I'd venture to say even in the 90%, believes that we are in a corrupt and stolen nation. I believe that fully. So
we shall see.
He has the density that he needs.
Thus far, I haven't seen results.
Well, we have.
I want you to be. I want you to be right.
We haven't seen arrests. If more arrests were made, if they arrested 1,000 people tomorrow,
They haven't even arrested Comey, dude.
They
Oh,
did
we're going
arrest
to indict
Comey.
him. Indicted. Brennan, not even
Yeah.
indicted. Bolton, oh, he was indicted. Was he arrested?
Yes, he was.
Come on, dude. No, they
Yes,
never.
he was.
They never hauled him in.
They
They searched his stuff. They fondled his equipment. He's still out there freely treasoning. Meanwhile, J6 grandmas that trespassed.
Look, I don't
Pathetic,
disagree with
dude.
what you're saying.
It is pathetic.
You can't put all of that on the shoulders of one man. There's a responsibility of
No,
other
this
people
entire
in-
administration.
No, it's
Pathetic.
not the administration. It's not. It has nothing. It has to do with the apparatus. Because when you start talking about the DAs, you talk about the AG's office and the DOJ, it is a 500 head snake.
Okay. Then it's Janine Pirro.
I believe that.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I'd say
Name
that.
one
And
arrest.
There aren't any. We had an
Oh,
arrest.
wait, hey.
Hold on. We had an arrest.
Remember?
We had an arrest for Hillary Clinton and the Russiagate deal, and a jury that was. You want to talk about?
Wasn't there a U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan? And then when the going got too tough, once again, Trump got bitch slapped along with Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi. And what happened? Right now, we still don't even have a U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, where the CIA is located, right?
Listen, I'm telling you right now.
How about Marco? How about your boy Marco Rubio? Since you like the Secretary of State and the Department of State, why is 70% of the ambassadorship pool still legacy Biden holdovers?
Well, how does that have anything to do with Rubio?
He's the Secretary of State.
That's John Thune's issue.
Doesn't he work with Senator Risch and John Thune in order to at least tee up and nominate?
Hold on a second.
a
You
candidate?
think that
How
I'm a
about we
Mark
start with
Rubio fan?
nominations?
I knew that he didn't do anything when he went down to Guatemala and let those pieces of
Donald
trash
Trump
steal
in his
elections
tweets
down
from
there.
2015 said that Marco Rubio was a little cuck, bought off cuck, not even cuck, I don't remember the exact words, but he's a little bitch for the Adelsons. It's funny
Listen.
how 10 years changes someone.
Well, time does change people. Time and information does change people. Hey, look, it's great to have you.
I don't
on.
think you got that one.
Yeah, I do.
I just slipped that one by you.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
No,
how do people follow you?
Donald Trump, that's rich. Donald Trump calling Marco Rubio Miriam Adelson puppet, or excuse me, Sheldon and Adelson puppet. And fast forward, and Donald Trump is in Tel Aviv asking Miriam Adelson that gave him $250 million if she's more loyal to Israel than the United States, and she refused to answer. And Donald Trump alluded that she's more loyal to Israel. And that's his main benefactor / control mechanism for policy via Susie Wiles, Jared Kushner, Bibi Netanyahu, in light of Elon Musk no longer in his ear and Charlie Kirk no longer whispering in Donald Trump's ear. That's the strategic frame. And then above that, obviously, end game, you got the banksters.
Yeah. I mean,
that are offering up an island off of Albania to Jared. But I digress.
Listen to me.
I'm still work
gonna,
the problem.
Some of the things that you talked about, I can't actually have. I have no receipts on any of that stuff. Here's what I have a receipt on. We're now talking about the fact that all of our elections are fraudulent, and if you want to get to the bottom of saving our nation, you have to have free and fair elections, and the people have to have a seat at the table. That's it.
Yeah. So hopefully we're going to get somewhere with that.
If we don't, we're going to war. I'm going to tell you right now, we are on the precipice of war. They have stolen our
Now,
Second
which
Amendment,
type of
suppressed
war are
our
we
First
going
Amendment.
to?
It's going to be kinetic.
No, but I'm saying, is it going to be a revolution, a civil war, or is it going to be both, or is it going to be, while that's going on, the government's going to continue to keep Bibi in power by sending money and resources to Carg Island?
I'm going to tell you what historically has worked in order to repel evil, team evil, and it has always been a list, very targeted list. The American people are not our enemy, not Democrat, not Republican, not independent. They're not our enemy. We know who the enemy is. We can actually point them out. They are people in leadership that have betrayed the very people they say they represent. A vast majority of this country does not believe that even if the Democrat over there believes something leftist, that's a problem. Both sides feel like they've been left behind. Both sides have been betrayed. Both sides have been treated like slaves. In order to break those bonds and break those chains, you have to focus in on who the problem is. And those are the leaders that are in Congress on both sides of the aisle that have ignored, stepped over, and spit on the American people.
I have a list myself.
Case. It's a good list. Unlikely
for peaceful
alliances.
and patriotic, legal and moral and ethical actioning.
Brother, we're in an illegitimate society right now. We're in a lawless society. The fact that illegals sit above the thing, everyone else has qualified immunity. Judges are absolutely immune. Big Pharma is immune. People that sit in government are immune. The president is immune.
All right, let's end with one positive thing. What's the most
right.
positive thing in your life?
On Thursday, we are going to literally rip it back, and people are going to be arrested and they're going to go to prison. That's what happened.
All right, let's pray.
All right, let's pray us out. Whew, Father God, thank you for Ivan Raiklin. Thank you for the ability for us to be in this battle for the last 5 years. I'm grateful, Father. I don't always agree with Ivan, but I'm grateful for the opportunity for us to have this debate, to have this conversation live on air. I'm grateful, Father, that there are people that are in this country that have unselfishly served, and that they have held themselves to the selfless sacrifice that is necessary, as outlined in 1 John 3:16. We know, Father, that how this ends, and we know this is just a blink of the eye. But we are grateful for the time and the people that have been in our lives that have shaped the direction of our nation and saving our nation from this evil, evil group of people that are trying to do really bad things to the American people and people around the world. Father, I just ask that you give us vision, that you give us the ability to be faithful to you, to operate with humility, and to set aside petty differences so we can get to a place where we can understand each other and accept each other where we are, not where we want to be. We want each other to be. Father, I ask you to give us the wisdom that is necessary and the patience to get to a place where the people of our nation and the people around the world can thrive, and that these evil people can be held to an account. We ask you, Father, to help our leader, President Trump of this country, and leaders in other countries, that they can stand forward and just cut out this cancer that has taken a grip on societies across the world. We can see it. We can see that the evil that it has manifested and the degradation that it has caused to nearly every nation in the world. Father, please give us the strength to stand, the courage to manifest anything that we need to do in order to stay in the fight to destroy Team Evil. And help us, Father, that we may be selfless in our actions and focused in on making sure that we do what is right biblically for you. I say these things, Father, humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you, man.
All right, God bless you.
God bless, brother.
We'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right, that's it today. It was good to have Ivan on. Good conversation. Ivan has been in this fight for 6 years. He's been in this fight, and he'll continue to be in this fight. So I just Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Don't be throwing stones at Ivan. Give him a little bit of grace. And I pray to see you guys tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we have a reckoning. Pray for that. I'll see you tomorrow.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the